guys, good morning. Welcome to the Fat Quarter Shop FlossTube. We have a jam-packed episode, so much to share. We're kicking things off with our early Black Friday cross-stitch sale. It ends tonight at midnight. I'm going to show you some of your favorite deals that you're not going to want to miss. I'm going to walk you through all of my stitching progress. I have several projects to show you, including Dear Santa and Good Old Days by Stitching with the Housewives, December Monthly Village by Country Cottage Needleworks, and The Quilted Snowman by Lori Holt. And I even made a couple of changes along the way that I'm going to show you. We also have some beautiful FFOs to show off. I can't wait for you to see how these turned out. And then we're going to check in with our amazing stitching staffers, Denise, Cheryl, and Shelly, to see what they've been working on. Denise is going to have a long tutorial to talk about how to frame your own cross-stitch pieces at home, like if you're buying stuff from a online framing company. And of course, we're going to wrap things up with new things in the shop, lots of adorable new releases, fabrics, and notions that are perfect for your holiday stitching lineup. So first, I wanted to talk about our early Black Friday cross-stitch sale. It started yesterday. It ends tonight at midnight. You don't need a promo code, and as of this morning, there were 346 items. By tonight, we'll probably only have 250 items left. I'm just going to show you a little bit about what we have on sale. We have some different patterns. This is FlossTube Friends by October Fiber House, My Garden House by Plum Street Samplers, Joy to the World by Stitching with the Housewives. This one's really cute. I stitched this one. Needle and Flax by Teresa Kogut. Here's the Skinny on Christmas on Heart and Hand, and Twin Peaks Santa on 2023. Now, most of these patterns that you see on sale, we will not be restocking. We're just going to discontinue them. The needle minders, we will probably reorder some of them. These two will be discontinued. This one will we'll keep in stock, but this is the Pink Be in My Bonnet enamel needle minder. This is the Snowy Penguin, and this one is the Pinwheel Flower Quilt Block by Flamingo Toes. We put some floss on sale. The floss, of course, we will restock. It's all just a big variety of Cosmo, Classic Color Works, and Weeks Dye Works. As far as fabric, we have a lot of fabric on sale. Some we will restock and some we will not. It will depend on how our past sales have been. So just an example, these are both Witchell linens. This is color Amber. So it's like brown. There you can see it pretty good. And then this is French lace, and this is like a really nice light gray. And then these two are Fabric Flair Kimberly's Color Pink and Kimberly's Color Blue. So I would definitely shop the sale before everything sells out. And of course, we will have more Black Friday sales as we get closer to Black Friday. Front camera. So now that we talked about the sales, let's take a peek at what we've been stitching on lately. I have made a ton of progress, so I'm super, super excited. But before, I wanted to show you and tell you that today is Priscilla's birthday. So happy birthday, Priscilla. You guys can go in her Facebook group, Instagram, and show her some love. I'm going to show you Dear Santa by Stitching with the Housewives first. And this one I finished on Monday. Can you zoom in, Jordan? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to show you some changes I made. So this one is available as paper and PDF. I stitched this on 14 count chalkboard black by Witchell. And let's see, there's a stitch along. It started in October. You can join anytime. I think it probably ends at the end of December. So let's talk about a couple different changes I made. So the buckle right here, it was only like half a buckle. So I added more. I just thought it looked funny. And then the eyes are basically normally just 2 white vertical stitches on top of each other, but I added blue. So to the left of this one, I added 4 stitches. To the right of this, 4 stitches. And to the left of this, 4 stitches. And then I changed the mittens or gloves. What are those? Gloves, mittens. I changed those to blue. They were green. Hopefully I haven't made any mistakes. If you can look and tell me if I made any. Now this one took quite a bit of time, but this one's so cute. I am going to purchase this piece from Hobby Lobby and probably try to find this little ornament thing from Hobby Lobby, and then Denise will just finish it the same way. But I think it's pretty cute. I'm not sure where I'm going to put it, but this one is super big. I just think it's so cute. So I had a lot of fun stitching it. One thing that I did do is I outlined kind of as I went so that I could fill in. Now, if you wanted to cheat, one thing you could do, I'm not going to tell you where I got this idea because she might kill me. But what you could do is you could stitch all of this red as one color, and then you could go back and just put the polka dots, the white X's on top if you wanted to just save time. Now, I don't know where I got that information, but that's just a little cheat. Now, I didn't do that, but if that's something you want to do to save time, that's just a little tip for you. So this is Dear Santa, Stitching with the Housewives. Also, by Stitching with the Housewives is the December Good Old Days. Is this in stock yet?
No, but it's shipped.
Okay, so this says shipped to us, but it's not here yet. But I somehow got an early release. I don't know how that happened. So I really wanted to get these done. I love to work on small pieces, so I just begged them to let me have this early. So if you're in the club, the same day it comes in, we'll ship it out to you. This will be a paper pattern for a month, and then after that it will eventually be a PDF. I also stitched these on chalkboard black 14 count by Witchell. And so for the Santa, I added a blue eye to his face. Can you zoom in? You probably can't see it, but I just added a blue stitch. And then here I did 2 strands for his, what is that called, a rein? Those things? Mm-hmm. And then here I just did 2 strands across. But then here, this one, yeah, stay right there, Jordan. So this one has some lines going like this for the lights. And I put them in and I thought they looked ugly, so I took them out. So that's totally optional, totally up to you. I mean, I don't know. It's just, oh, and then I added blue eyes. So usually his eyes are just empty black. So I changed them to blue. I also changed the feet to blue and the mittens or gloves to blue instead of green. And then we have a tease for you that is December. Now, is January. So this is a tease for the January Good Old Days. And we just got that from Priscilla this morning. So I'll probably be begging her to get the chart. I'm all about stitching ahead of time because then I can pretend I'm ahead of time. Now we started with April, and I'm going to be showing you those in a second. Like all of the ones I've stitched so far. This is December Monthly Mini Village by Country Cottage Needleworks. I started this on Monday, so I've stitched on this only 2 days. This one's pretty quick, but I think there's some things that are weird about this. Okay, so first of all, last night I forced myself to do the gingerbread, and in the past the eyes we had done in black, but it didn't show up. And then my buttons look funny. So I'm going to have Cheryl look at this. It might need a little bit. I don't know. It looks like a mess. And then I added for the little boy, you can't really see it, but I added a green little collar and a pink collar. But I just think the gingerbread man looks funny. So that's a mess. I'm not sure if it's fixable. Now, it probably won't be as noticeable once I get this in. And then on the house on the left, I think it looks like it has chicken pox. It, to me, just looks so funny, and I don't know what I should do. Jordan said maybe I should just make it stripes, like a red stripe, a pink stripe, like stripe the house instead. Cheryl and Denise think it looks fine. So I'm going to stitch this house and then try to decide. My black fabric I stitch on is 14 count chalkboard black by Witchell. That's what I use all the time. This fabric right here is beautiful beige 14 count by Witchell, and I'll probably finish this by Friday. And then I'll be done with the entire series. And then this is the one that we're finishing on a piece from Polka Dots and Paisleys. And we will probably do like a live stream where we finish all of them. Okay, they said they love it, leave it. Bernadette. Okay. The heads are missing something on the people. Yeah, I agree. So I don't know. That's why I added the collar. Like, you can't really see it, but there's just 3 stitches there and 3 stitches there. I feel like my buttons are also in a weird spot, and hers have French knots, so obviously they look better. So I'm gonna just kind of defer to Cheryl and see if she might look at it and think it looks fine. So usually if she says it looks fine, I just leave it. So this is since Monday. And then my quilted snowman that I was supposed to be done with, I don't know, a couple months ago. I'm still not done. What I wanted to show you is I've been using Lori's brand new Stitchy board, and this pattern is really big and thick, so I've been clipping them down. So I wanted to show you kind of what it looks like and what I'm missing. And then that last one, I'm going to show something on it. Okay. So this one, can you zoom out just a little bit? Okay, this is like the behemoth of the behemoth. I have been stitching on this forever, like hours. So since the last time you saw it, I finished the tire and all of the white, and then here. So what I have left is obviously the hat, and then I have the handle and all of this to do. I'm going to do that part last. I have some flowers here, 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 and here. And then obviously the arm. So I'm not sure, I definitely will be finished by Christmas, but kind of what I think I'm going to do is focus on making his hat, just because he looks funny without the little thing on his hat. Finish the scarf because that's fun. And then I'll probably do his arm and then the wagon. And then I will probably try to do all these little stars at one time so I can do all the white at one time. And let's see. I'm going to show the back on this one, and then I'm going to show the back on another one that somebody asked. Now, I haven't made any changes to this one. And this one's just all DMC. And this, my favorite part was doing the scarf. The way I did this was I did the green, I guess that's green, aqua. I did the lighter color first throughout, and then I just filled in the dark. So you can see I just kind of crisscrossed the dark after. So this is the quilted snowman. We had a question from Patty. How did you travel from snowflake to snowflake? So now this one, I do it different every time. So it's white thread. So I just traveled from, and then ignore this little piece. I noticed last night that this little pink was just like hanging out. But then I thought, oh, Cheryl's probably going to tell me to change it. So I just left it in there. So don't look at that. But the white, if it's a different color, I might not travel so far. But on this one, I think it's totally fine. Thank you to Kathy Dayton for the super chat. She says, love your floss tubes. Thank you for watching. Is there going to be a stitch along for Garden of Quilts? Yes, there is. I will be stitching, and that we're going to start that in January. Oh, and the fabric that I used on Quilted Snowman was Vintage Country Mocha, the non-modeled side. Okay, so now I was going to show you some stuff that I have kitted up. So this is Mrs. Claus gingerbread. I have a lot of gingerbread pieces I stitched of Priscilla and Chelsea's years ago, so I thought, well, I'll just do this one too. I mean, it's also very big. Now, Priscilla told me it doesn't take as long as the Dear Santa, because she said, you know, the text is really fast. So I do think this one will be a little bit faster. And you can see we pulled fabric from the store, but we also pulled from my stash. And you can tell because see how much this one has. I have really not had to buy much floss lately because I have so much left over. Mainly when I restock my floss, it's usually bamboo, reds, and greens. Okay, so that is kind of where I'm at on all my stitching. Now we're going to talk about FFOs. And so now it is time to talk about the fun stuff, which is finishing. So if you go to our YouTube channel, which you're on now, and you look, on Monday, Denise did a finishing tutorial. It was 2.5 hours or 3 hours? Close to 3. It was close to 3 hours. And so she just basically walked through finishing all of these. So the very first one was April. I'm going to show you all 3 of them. But if you want to just sit and watch somebody finish and kind of see how she does all of her hand movements, how she did, you know, if you're going to do this where you cinch the fabric with a long stitch, or if you want to do it with a hot glue gun. So you can go back. We basically did that on Instagram, and then we waited a day. It took that long for it to download. We put it on YouTube last night. If you want to join us next week, it will be on Instagram at 10 a.m. Central Time next Monday, and then we're going to finish the remaining one of these. So I'm going to get to show you all of these. Now we do have a finishing tutorial on this that was from April of 2025, and it's just called Good Old Days Cross Stitch Finishing.
We're trying to go live also at the same time on YouTube.
Oh, okay. So that was the first time last week that we did a live from Instagram. So next week we're going to try to do it also on YouTube. We'll just see. Like, we're trying this out. So this is July. This is April. And it really doesn't matter which goes on which side. And when you store these, I would not store them like this. I would store them like this and like this, so that the silver, the magnet does collect dirt. When you get them out of the package, there's black stuff all over it. So you just want to make sure that doesn't transfer to here and then get on your artwork. So that's April. And huge shout out to Denise for finishing all of these. This next week I am going to help her. This week you can see I was pretty lazy in the video. I was trying to finish Dear Santa, but this next week I'm going to actually help her. I'm a little intimidated to help her.
You got a lot done within the 2 hours though of your stitching.
Yeah, I was like, we got to go. I got to get, yeah. And then, yeah. So this is May. And the fabric we used is the Priscilla and Chelsea fabric from Henry Glass. Here's June. I'm not even sure if I'm going in order. So you can see these, she did the cinching. And this piece is from Paisleys and Polka Dots. And there is, and Denise talked about it in that video, there's another one that has a top to it that says Good Old Days. I didn't do that part. So she made this one, and it'll sit up. That was just one less thing I didn't need to stitch, right? And then Tori asked where I got my sweater, and I actually have no idea. I've had it a couple of years, or a year. I don't know. I could have got it off a Facebook ad. I'm a sucker for a Facebook clothes ad. Or there's a little place that does, it's by my house, and it just has cute little shirts that are inexpensive, so I could have got it there. So for the board for the Good Old Days, you would go to Paisleys and Polka Dots and just type Good Old Days, and it should show up. So there's that. And then I even stitched a little bit more. I've been really having fun, guys, stitching. Okay, so I wanted to bring this and just compare this for you. So in February, we are going to start the Quilting Bee Club by Lori Holt. So this one was lovely and stitched by Denise, and this one is stitched on
Cream and sugar 36 count.
Cream and sugar 36 count. So you can see that's what it looks like. Now I'm going to stitch mine on 14 count pale gray gingham. So what I did yesterday, I want to kind of show you where you can see how much bigger it is. So this is what Lori called for. This is stitched one floss over one square, one floss over two squares, so it's a little bit muted. But if you look, I'm going to be doing 14 count, and so mine's going to be bigger, but I don't think it's, I mean, it is bigger, but it's not like too big, I don't think. One thing I'm going to do though is purple is my least favorite color. Green's my second least favorite color. So I just don't know that I can have a green sewing machine. So I was thinking about doing the sewing machine with these colors, but my concern is you have a dark and a light pink, and then right here you have a tomato that's red. So to me that looks like it might just be way too much going on right there. So that's one option. You guys can vote and let me know what you think. I'm gonna basically talk to Lori and see what she thinks also. So there's that. Another option would be to do Saint Bernard and mint julep, and so it would be aqua. Well, it'd be a little bit darker than aqua. Another option is to do tropical paradise with really tealy. That probably will be my first choice. Another option would be to make it a lighter green. So this is kind of where I get into, I kind of call it like the mouse on the little circle wheel where your mind just keeps going and going and going and you can't stop. So I have plenty of time because it's only November and we're not going to do the sew along till February. But that's kind of where my mind is, just so you guys know. I'd probably go with the pink, but I just don't know about the tomato. So I'm going to have Lori watch this and see what she thinks. And then obviously I can toss I have plenty of Tropical Paradise and Really Tealy at my office. I just didn't bring it. Everyone's saying aqua. Okay. Well, then maybe we're going to do aquas or blue. Maybe black and white, like an old singer. Oh, I don't think black and white would fit me. I love aqua or teal. Okay, so another thing I wanted to show you was, I think this is a great way to start a cross stitch that's this big. Basically, I told Denise I was going to do this yesterday, and she looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, Denise, I'm going to outline the border. And she said, you cannot do that. That's too big. You cannot do that. But she didn't really say that, but that's what she was looking at me like. That was her face. I meant one line. She thought I was, and so I texted her last night, and I was like, I did it. And she was like, how? Okay, she thought I meant the whole thing. Obviously, I did not mean the whole thing, but I just thought this would be good, especially because we're having the Black Friday sale. You know, if there's a cloth you're looking at, you're going to need 6 of these. So, you know, if there's something you think might look good, you can at least see the difference in the 2 sizes of fabrics. And you can, this club, if you want all the information on this club and this series, you can go to our FlossTube on October 22nd for all the information. Okay, so our team has been stitching up a storm, and I'm so excited to show you what everybody's working on. We're going to show Cheryl's progress, Shelly's progress, Denise's progress, and then Denise is also going to have a framing tutorial. And then just so you guys know, we're trying something new. We're going to wear some different microphones.
Yes.
If they have questions.
Yeah, if y'all have questions, we're going to try this new microphone thing behind the scenes so y'all can actually hear when we answer. So there might be some glitches, just letting you know. So if there's some glitches, please forgive us. And we're going to start off with Cheryl's whips.
Hey, good morning. Kimberly's right. I think we've all been stitching up a storm, but my stitching the last month has been model stitching, so I've only had really a few hours to stitch on anything of mine, so my progress is very little. I had a sweet email this morning from Rita who said, well, even if you have a tiny start, it inspires us. So be patient. I'll have bigger starts sooner or later. See my beautiful bag with the Tilda Christmas fabric.
Is that the Merry Little, the newest one, Merry Little Christmas, I think?
Which I don't know, but the word is it might be reprinted.
So we've heard.
So we will see. Anyway, my Christmas things, patterns are in here, so I will pull those out as we get to them. But the first thing I was going to show you is this Halloween piece that you will be seeing for all of 2026 probably. I'm not sure how long it will take me. It is Witch's Hollow by Autumn Lane Stitchery. So since we've had a 31st since you've seen this piece, I did just a few stitches. I don't even remember if I had this little bit done last time or not. I think not. I think all I did was a little bit over here. I moved to this side. The stitching, as you can see, in the center is pretty sparse. You see a lot of the orange fabric, but I know I definitely did some over here on the 31st. So usually I will stitch on a Halloween piece if a month has 31 days, always do on the 13th, but there's the tiny bit of progress there. And I did want to answer a question, maybe others have this question also. Rita has been asking about the Pip and Chip mini DMC labels. And this morning we've been trying to find some options for bobbins if you don't purchase the Pip and Chip plain bobbins. So I pulled excuse me, some of the DMC bobbins that we carry, and they are a little bit small but not much smaller. So I was going to show you, if you can see, these are some bobbins that I have from an independent maker. But let's see if one of these, you can see the little, maybe see the label. I'm not sure if you can see or not. You can see how small that little label is. So I think, Rita, they would fit just fine. They are really tiny, and you could put the label right up here. So because I usually have so many projects going at once, I often have a second or third set of bobbins.
Are those DMC bobbins like the plastic ones, not the cardboard ones?
These are not. These are from an independent maker. They're Adam Hart.
But the ones in the...
These are the DMC plastic. These are plastic.
Can you tell us where you got the bag you showed?
The Merry Little Christmas.
Merry Little Christmas is Sherry So Sweet on Etsy. She's a fantastic bag maker. This little fellow is Christmas Moon by Stitches from Ethel. I don't know why, but I'm always drawn to a crescent Santa. So I was anxious to get this one started, and I think when we showed this before, I had kind of a gray fabric I was considering, but I decided to go with blue. And when I look at this piece right now, I worked until midnight one night trying to get a really good start on this. And last night I thought I need to at least get his eye in there so he doesn't look quite so strange, but it got late and I had to quit. So right now to me he looks like a very weird little bird, but it actually will be that Crescent Santa. And this is fabric from my stash. It's a picture of this plus Nessie, I believe, and it is a 32 count. Because I wanted color saturation, I didn't want to use one strand. I wanted to use 2 strands. So that
Monica
one.
wants to know, what is the name of the orange fabric?
The orange fabric is a Bestitch Me fabric, and I always have to look. I always forget. It is Pumpkin Patch. Pumpkin Patch by Bestitch Me. It also is a 32 count.
And we ordered it. We did get an order of Stitch Me fabric. We're going to show you in a little bit, but this orange is coming. We do have an order.
Okay. Then my next tiny little start is from Silver Creek Samplers, Love Came Down. Trying to do a few ornaments, and this is a very, very tiny start. The white does show up a tiny bit better in person. This is on a 40 count fabric from my stash, a Seraphim, and 1 strand of floss, so I just have the top of Joseph's headdress done. And as I work on it, I'm undecided as to whether I will put the stars and the Noel. I may just do the center.
Are you stitching all 3 of them?
Yes, probably, yes. And then my final start, I don't remember if it was Shelley or Denise, or maybe both of them. I showed this tiny little start and said, can you guess what it is? It's my start on the Naughty or Nice stocking by Teresa Kogut. It's very narrow. It's only 8.5 inches across, and I believe it's almost 23 long. So here's my piece of fabric. I started out with a yard of fabric. I did cut it down so I wouldn't have to wrangle that entire piece of fabric, but it will not be used as a stocking. It will be as a decor piece, but I'm using the Call for Floss. It's all DMC with the exception of the reds, and they are both weeks.
Cheryl came to my office, I believe it was on Monday, and Shelly and we were looking at, cross stitch projects, and Cheryl whipped out this piece, and it was literally like half of Cheryl's size and length. It was so big. Might as well have been a blanket. And she's like, yeah, I think it's time that I cut this down.
If this is done on 20 count Vintage Country Mocha.
Okay, this is going to be a weird question, but
Okay.
so you're not going to use it as a stocking, or you're going to finish it as a stocking,
Yes.
where you can put stuff in it, you're just not going to use it.
Right. It's not really wide enough to use as a stocking. I do have stockings that I have stitched for all of my family, and they hang on the mantle at Christmas time. This one, I have some stockings made from vintage quilts that hang down my staircase, and this one probably will be maybe in 2030. This one will be ready to hang with those down my staircase. But yes, it will be made into a stocking shape. So this is one also that you will probably see for at least a year. So my plan is maybe to try to dedicate the 24th and 25th of each month. So Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then 24th and 25th of each month to get progress along. So like I do with my Halloween piece, I plan to, among some other Christmas pieces, I plan to work on this at least one day a month, and maybe a little bit 2 days a month. But so I have been stitching a lot, but it's on things that are not ready to show yet. Our Christmas mystery stitch along, and then hometown neighborhood, next piece of that one is done. So that is all for mine.
You also started the Halloween one, right? The Halloween mystery for
Yes,
the model stitching?
yes, doing the model stitching of our Halloween mystery for next year. Yes, so that one is in progress as well. So that is all of mine.
So Shelly's going to show us her progress.
Good morning, everyone. I'm gonna start with a piece that I've finished. It's the number 5 in the Coffee Drinkers Convection series by Heartstring Sampler. Okay, so the stitching is all done on this one, and this was the 14 count taupe dyed effect by Fabric Flair. And I use the DMC colors that they gave with it, not the ones that they used. They used all the fancy flosses on here. I switched to DMC for this one. Okay, that's the only one that's what.
How are we gonna finish that, Shelly?
I'm picturing like I'm not good at this part. I'm picturing something sitting on something wooden,
Okay.
sort of rustic looking.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. I asked Shelly if she was phoning a friend for finishing, which means me.
I think so. My husband has a whole coffee closet. It's a huge closet within our kitchen. That's his espresso bar, and he roasts coffee, and all of his stuff is in there. So that's where it's going to go. So I think something sort of
Rustic like that.
rustic looking
Okay.
could work for that. Okay. So here are the ones that I have progress on. This is the Christmas Terranium by Tiny Modernist. I'm almost finished. All I have left to do is fill in the white down here, the snow underneath this one. Again, I'm a huge fan of Tiny Modernist. I think the colors in this are great. These are really fun Christmas colors. This is the 14 count Cosmo that I did it on, and it's done with the DMC colors. And then another one I just started yesterday. I took it's also on the 14 count Cosmo. So this was one piece of Cosmo. I was able to fit both of these on one piece, and this is the Night Terranium. So again, DMC colors, Tiny Modernist. So that was nice. We can get both of these to fit.
You don't serge your
on there.
edges or anything, like from what you cut. It doesn't look like Cosmo frays much. on
Cosmo
the
doesn't
edge.
fray very much, and it just stops after a little bit. I've had some things that I do serge, but this one I haven't felt the need to pull it out and do it. I did notice she uses different colors in the corks. I don't know why that stuck out to me. I just really liked it that they were all going to be just a little bit different on this series. So
So you've done the night and the Christmas terrarium. Are there others, and are you going to do those?
oh yes,
How many are there?
I think there's Halloween and Under the Sea. I don't think it's called Under the Sea, but
Is it like mermaid maybe? Doesn't it have a mermaid in it?
she's got a mermaid on something else, but I can't remember if there's a mermaid in the Under the Sea, but there's a few in this series, and yes, I have them. I thought I was going to be doing Halloween on this side, but then I realized there's a lot of black. You can't do it on black. There's a lot of black in that one, but this one was perfect to pull out
The colors look
and to
really
get started
good.
on it. Yep. So, okay. Let's see what's next. Okay. Next one I have progress on, and there's still a piece of string attached. I started last night. This is the Away We Go by Country Cottage Needleworks. Where are my notes on this? This is a 14 count navy witchled. and I'm using the called for colors. So I'm using, it's a mix of DMC and Classic Colorworks. And I'm trying very hard to make complete X's. This is not me. I'm trying very hard to make complete X's to get the looks from the fancy flosses. We'll see how long I continue doing that.
Don't feel guilty if you don't, because I never do that.
No, I'm still using the loop method, so I don't have 2 separate strands. I'm doing about halfway. I'm trying, but I don't know how long that's gonna last. So we'll see what happens there. And I'm definitely gonna finish all of the deer first and then come down and do the houses, because the deer, there's a lot of color changes as you're moving along here. And I'm, instead of doing all the brown, I'm working in the color changes because I just don't want to get off count, because there's just little tiny details. His reins, their hooves, I don't want to get lost.
Okay, flip it over and show them how you move from snowflake to snowflake.
I cut and moved.
You do?
Yeah. But you can see that these snowflakes, they're kind of crazy. So there's a lot of crazy going on behind on these snowflakes. But I was, I'm just always afraid I'm going to snag.
That makes sense.
She's so
Something.
much like me. It's ridiculous. Just keep going how you're going.
Just keep doing it. Just keep going.
You know, though, you can still, in person, I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but even though she's doing the loop method, like at the angle that I'm standing, you can still see the variegation.
You can see
of
Santa
it.
is definitely, he's a little redder. And down here, it's a little more of the pink variation in that. What color was that? Ladybug.
And I want to say Ladybug is a pretty variegated color in general, I
But
think,
then
on the skein.
This one is brandied pears. I don't see really any variegation on this one, so it's been tough to complete those X's on that one, because I'm like, is it really gonna? But I'm trying. Keep it going. Just a tiny bit of progress. Somebody after the last stream asked me to do a little more progress on this one. So this is the Gothic Bat by Yasmin's Made with Love. So I just got a little bit added to it. I think I'm going to follow Cheryl's method of stitching on this on the 13th and the 31st of each month, because there's a lot going on here. But I wasn't really into it until actually I added these two this past week or so, or on the 13th. No, what was we had a 31st, that's what it was. But on Halloween, I put these on. I'm really liking it a lot more now that I'm getting more on there. And again, I'm using DMC 154, and this is 14 count eggshell by Fiber on a Whim.
And that's more of like a mauve, like an eggplant color?
Yeah, it's eggplant. That's what I would, yeah, it's a really nice deep eggplant. It doesn't show, it really pops on this fabric. It's,
Yeah. I remember when we got that pattern, I want to say that released at Needlework Expo, the images that we saw, I really thought that was stitched like with a black thread. And I was so adamant. And then
yeah, you can, yeah.
Shelly was like, no, it's stitched like in a eggplant color. And so sure enough, we looked at it, and it is. I guess in how I looked at the photo, I really thought it was a black thread.
Yeah, the color they're using is a aubergine. So, yep.
Shelly, quick question. Your fabric, the Cosmos fabric that you're using, is it a soft or stiff? And I guess I would compare it to maybe Witchell.
Here, I'll stand, see if I can. Oh. So here's the Witchell standing up, if you can, and then I think that the Cosmo is much softer, and it definitely gets, does that help? It gets softer as you're sewing. This softens up really fast. I'm waiting for this one to soften up. I don't know if it's gonna happen. Somebody suggested rinsing it before I started next time. I can't do that now because it'll wash out these colors. But the Cosmo is definitely softer than this Witchelled.
That was one question that I had when we were talking about this earlier, when she started that project, that I wondered if like Witchelled use like a sizing per se, that if you did wash it, if it would like remove sizing.
I love that Witchell is stiff and it doesn't soften, so please, I hope they don't change the formula. But it really doesn't soften.
Okay.
But I like that just because I can hold it better. But like Cheryl and Denise don't like love that. So it's so interesting on this FlossTube just to see how like we're all so different, and that's why we have so many products, because then you can buy what you like. But I'm just like all about the cheapest fabric possible, that's the stiffest fabric possible to give myself more calluses on my hands.
There's a lot of lotion I put on before I start this one, but I do think it's the perfect color for this project. This looks really good on here. Okay, so the next two I have are starts that I've been working on. You haven't seen these before. It's two new releases by Tiny Modernist. This is A Spooky Night. So I decided to challenge myself and try 18 count Ada. So this is Earth by Fiber on a Whim. And this pattern, yes, the model is stitched on fancy flosses, so I'm going to give that a try here too. But I think the challenge is over. I don't like the 18 count. I don't think I'm going to continue. Simply because I like to go really fast, and I cannot go fast while I'm doing this. And I keep trying, and I don't feel a need to continue challenging myself if I'm not enjoying it.
Are you going to restart that piece then?
I think I am. I went and I pulled a couple of things this morning. So this is a 16 count Old Gold, and we have a 16 count, how do I say that? Cafe au lait? Cafe au lait. From Fiber on a Whim. So this is a lot darker in person. This is the one I'm drawn to right now. So yes, I did another one on 16 count, and that was great. That went really fast, and I love 14 count. I just don't think 18 count is where I'm at. It's not where I'm at right now. And I love stitching, and I want to go fast and continue to love it. So I think Cheryl suggested finishing this one, and then I could turn this into a little ornament because I've gotten pretty far on that one. So that is a great idea. And then the last one I started is another Tiny Modernist. It's the Fall Folk Dragon. I love it. This just called out to me. I again thought I'd challenge myself, and this is not going to happen. This looks great. Oh, I also like to stitch over. I like 2 threads. I loved it to be so much color and to pop. And so that could be part of my problem too, why it's not going as fast, but I love it. These are so, I think this is so beautiful, but I'm not going to keep going.
Is that with 1 strand?
Nope, that's 2.
That's with 2?
That's 2. Yeah.
It looks good though for it being 2 strands.
It does look good.
18
That took
count.
a long time. It took a long time. And last night when I was starting the night terrarium, it was so fast, and I was just going, and I was like, that's when I decided I don't want to not like what I'm doing. So I pulled a couple of things this morning again. So this is this is 18 count cornflower, and I love this color. So I found 16 count cornflower too. I may stick with it, but then I also found a 14 count cobalt. All of this is Fiber on a Whim. These are very similar. I can see on camera now. This is a little bit lighter. So I may go to 14 count with this one, since I think I'm probably going to choose a 16 count on A Spooky Night. So that's where I'm at on that one.
Yay, hopefully next time we can finish. This will be a complete FFO.
Yes, we'll have the coffee. And it's a Christmas present, so we kind of have to get it.
Oh yeah, we got to get that done.
Pretend we're going to get, I have presented mini quilts and other gifts going, well, here's the top. Here's this cross stitch knot. I've definitely done that. I'll take it back now to finish it. So
Does Eric watch the FlossTubes?
he did. If I don't send it to him, he doesn't.
Okay, let's hope he doesn't watch so that he doesn't know the gift.
No, he's not gonna just go. My oldest son, he does go and sends me comments, but no, Eric will not. He won't go. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Shelly.
And now Denise is going to show her all her stuff.
I'm going to start with the progress first before I go into the framing portion. I started, I believe last time on stream, I talked about the Quaker Snippets, the first one by Brenda, with the needle and thread, and I had a very small start. I only had like this section done right here. and I was not loving the contrast of the called for colors in the acorn. The cap of the acorn, the cap of the acorn, and the actual acorn, I did not like the color. They didn't show up or anything. So I changed them to the Simply Shaker by Gentle Art Wood Trail, and that's the lighter brown, and then this basket here, and then this week's Dye Works. Jordan, would you help me with that name? I don't know if you can see it. Palomino. So these both were called for colors in her Autumn Trio pattern. I then pulled from there to here because the color scheme looks very identical. So I went in, I just unstitched the two browns and then unstitched the basket, restitched it before I even continued on, and I loved it. So it's almost done. The only thing I have left are these white or cream looking like snowflakes. It's actually, there's two different creams. This is one cream, and then I guess the little like feathers on the owl is in another color of white. I'm just sticking with one. I don't even know if feathers is the right term for the owl, but I picked eggshell. I think it adds some dimension. I can see it way better here on camera than I can in person, because it's very similar to the same fabric color. But I love how it's coming out. The variegation in this leaf flower is very beautiful, and same thing here. Brenda did really good in picking her oranges. I think it uses like 5 or 6 different oranges, ranging from Gentle to Weeks to Classic Colorworks, and they all matched very nicely together. So I'm hoping to get this done before Thanksgiving and actually FFO it. I think I'm going to do a flat fold for this one, and maybe I'll do a tutorial or a quick short in how I do it. And then, just like Cheryl, I've been doing some model stitching. I'm going to try to put this in half so I don't give too much away. But this is the next in the quilting bee. So the first one was a sewing machine, and this is a little bit of the next one. I want to say it's called, I don't even want to, Needles and Pin Cushions maybe is what the name of it. So if you know the quilt pattern, you can kind of guess where the cross stitch is going. This one I enjoy stitching because there is not much fill-in, like the sewing machine. It's not as dense stitching. It's going very fast. I save the border to the very end. I just get my corner started, and then I immediately jumped in to doing the pieces. I do check myself though as I go to make sure.
I love the border.
To make sure I'm not, off or anything. I do try to do a point reference from time to time. I still need to come back and like fill in some of the jar and the label here. When I was stitching it, I really couldn't see the jar, but once I filled in the inside with this darker color, it really pops. So yeah, and then this is kind of the other side.
What size needle are you using, Denise?
I am using a size, I don't have one on here, size 28 Colonial petite needle. So Kimberly, do you have a needle of yours?
No, my needle is the one that we're coming out with.
Oh, that's right.
But we did get a shipment of these in yesterday because I ordered one to see what I think of it.
So this is like a normal size. Well, this is a size 24.
Oh, you just want to see a normal needle?
Yeah, just wanted to compare size because it is a petite, so it is a lot shorter than you do know there's pat needles in here, right?
Yeah, but I'm
okay.
So that's a normal needle.
This one right here?
Yeah. But if you leave it on the white, you can see it better than the brown.
sorry. So this is, oh my goodness, the difference in length.
Wow, that's big. That's at least half an inch.
Yeah.
Wow.
So because I've started using petites, if I go back to even a size 28, like a normal length needle, it throws me off. Like, I feel like I have too much needle that I'm working with.
And then Cheryl uses Edmar size 28. I'm using needles that we are developing, but we are going to do a whole live stream on needles. And my best advice is just find a needle you like and just stick with it, because the ones that we're coming out with, I had run out of them and I was just going crazy at home because I was like, I want my regular needle back. Like, I feel like when you're using a needle, you get into like a rhythm of how it moves.
Not all my projects right now, I have crossed over into the petites. So then when I start, that I take it out of my bucket or anything and I start stitching on it, I'm like, ew, I don't want this needle anymore. I need my, my petites. Now, I don't throw them. I still keep them in the event that I go through a phase and, that I don't want to do the petites. So that's as much as my stitching that I've actually done. I've only really worked on that Quaker piece and the next in the quilting bee. But then on last FlossTube, I talked about the frames that I got from Art to Frames. So when I measured my piece, I got very confused in how to order the frame. And I'll kind of go, let me get out everything so that I can, let me take off the glass. I stole a frame from home. I took out our photo, Jordan, so.
Oh, you should have left Jordan.
I
in. You
wouldn't
should've
embarrass you if you didn't want our engagement photo shown. So when I was ordering the frame, I didn't know when you put the frame size in, is it the frame opening on the front that you want visible, or is it the frame opening on the back? Because each one is a different size. So turned out it's the frame opening on the back. And the way I remember it, when you go to Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Walmart, wherever, and you're buying a 5x7 frame, the 5x7 measurement is from the back. So this is what's going to be visible to, someone, to someone, and then this is the back where the easel is. So 5x7, it's 5 to here and here, and here and here. But the opening is actually 4.75 by 6.75. It's a 1/4 inch or a 1/4 inch to 1/8 of an inch, depending on your lip, smaller, because your photo or whatever you're putting within your frame, including your glass, needs something to hang on to so it doesn't fall through the front. I don't know if I made any sense on that, so please, Kimberly, if
It makes sense to me.
so when you think about it, you want your glass or whatever piece to fit in between here to here. So when I did this piece, I measured from stitch to stitch, and that was, I'm just going to say a number because I don't want to remeasure, but it was, I'm going to say 5 inches. Then I wanted 1/2 inch on the left to be visible, and then 1/2 inch on the right. So that was, what number did I say?
5.
So that would be 6 inches. But then I had to account for the lip for the piece to actually hold on to. So that's for the frame that I ordered, it was a 1/4 inch lip on the left and also on the right. So I would add then to make it 7 inches. So the number that I would be putting in would be 7 inches for the width. Then I did the same for the height. Measured stitch to stitch, added my margin. So in my case, I wanted 1/2 inch visible. So I then, added 1 inch and then factored the lip. That's the measurement that I ordered the frame. They're going to make your frame according to the back size, not what's visible. So always make sure after you add your margin to add the lip. And on frame sites, they do give you a graphic of what your lip measures. And I'll show it on my next piece that I did because I have it popped open. I don't want to open up all those tabs. Yeah. So this is a stitch that my mom stitched for me. It is it's called In and Out Cross Stitch Pattern by the Sweet Wing Studio, and I loved it for our house. My mom said she would stitch it for me. She did everything called for. Fabric, I couldn't even tell you. I know it was Weigart. I don't even know the color. So again, I'm learning with frames at the same time you guys are. So I measured stitch to stitch, added my 1/2 inch, and then added the 1/4. So let me see if I can pop the glass out without taking out the spacers. So when you go on a frame, this right here is the rabbit, which is your depth. Then you have your lip. So my rabbit, I'm gonna get a ruler. Let me just get a small ruler real fast. Yeah. And each frame is going to be different. So before you even order, I would look at the math or the measurements. So this one has 1/2 inch of a rabbit, which is your depth. Then my lip is right at 1/4. So when I did the math, I don't worry about my opening. I only worry, I look at the stitch to stitch, add your margin, add now the lip, do that for the height, the width, and when your frame comes, it should match perfectly that when you put it in your frame, try not to snag it, you have a perfect 1/2 inch. The lip and rabbit. I wonder if I can just use like the corner of the, well, I'll use my spacer. So this depth right here is your rabbit. And then this direction is your lip. These pointers or tabs, they came with it. I didn't specify how many I wanted or if I even wanted it from where I got my frame. They did it for me. Different shops will tell you, if you want them, if you don't, you get to pick. It's all dependent on where you order. There's a ton out there that you can do them yourself. Then it came for the glass. So I love putting glass in my frames. I am so afraid that, as if we ever move or when I store them, if I don't have them all the time out on display, I don't want my stitches to get snagged, especially if it's something for my mom that she's stitching for me. I do want to pass those down, to my children and keep, hopefully, the hobby going with them. So I ordered the Museum True View glass. Depending on where you're getting your frames, it may be acrylic or it may be glass. Honestly, it's also dependent on your size. The bigger the piece, more than likely they're going to ship you with acrylic just because it's such a big frame. So I want to say this is glass. So with that, I now have to add spacers because I don't want moisture from the stitch piece touching directly on the glass. So now I have to buy spacers. If you don't do glass, skip this part. It doesn't matter. You know, if you don't have glass. So this is what a spacer is. It actually came 5 feet. And then from here, all you do is score. You score the measurement that you want. And I honestly scored it with a rotary cutter. And I can do it now if you, it's not hard. You don't cut, you just get enough to like give you a line. You can do it with an X-Acto knife. You can do it if you have like, if your husband has a DeWalt like utility blade, anything, you just score it and then it snaps right where you score it. So, I mean, this is an 1/8 inch thick. So, I mean, you're not taking scissors and cutting it. You're just creating a line and then snapping it. The spacers I got they are a 1/8 of an inch. You can also get them where they're 3/16 of an inch. You can get them in clear and you can get them in black. Depending on your rabbit is a size that you need to also consider for your spacer. So mine rabbit, or my depth of frame that I measured was 1/2 inch from here to here. So, okay, I have my glass. Your glass has a certain depth, about 1/8. Now I'm adding a 1/8 spacer. Plus then now I have the thickness of my board. At the end of the day, I need all of this stuff to fit and still be able to close. So I went with 1/8 of a spacer because 1/8 is smaller than 3/16. Right? Okay. CP and frames is where I get my spacers from. CP and frames. You can also get them from Amazon. Amazon is where now I'll be going just because of how many I still have to do. I'm going to buy them in bulk. I bought 5 sticks of 5 feet, and that got me this frame, this small frame, plus a little bit of, user error. And then like I have 1 stick left to use for like a smaller piece. So,
Are they plastic?
yes, they're archival. Everything that I use is like acid-free or archival quality. You need to make sure that they are. Usually if you're, buying it from a frame store, they're going to tell you if it's, archival or acid-free. And then the best thing about these, I gotta find it, is, Jordan, if you can zoom in, once you score it and you snap it, all you have to do, it's a peel and stick. So now this side is like sticky tape, essentially. And then now you just put it on your glass and, fit it. Once it's cut to size. So I do one side first, the top and bottom, and then I go in with a, measuring tape or ruler and measure from this spacer where this ends to here. And I add these. Now, this is a question I have for you guys because, again, I'm no framing expert. I have watched so many framing videos of not necessarily framing cross stitch, but just framing art to see how things are and how, what supplies I need and all that. There has been back and forth, I guess, not a debate, but just, what would be the word? Contradicting information of what side of the glass should face the art and what side of the glass faces out. I can get very technical, and with museum quality glass, I want to say both sides are UV coated. So regardless of what side you pick, it's going to have that UV protection, for fading from the sun, all that. However, one side has an additional layer of coat.
Can you see it?
Supposedly, the test, and this is the only test, and no, you can't see it. Like, maybe you could, like, maybe it'll work better here on the camera than at home. So, like, this is one side, right? And then if you flip it, there should have been, like, there's a test supposedly that you can do based on, like, if there's blue light or an angle, you know, if you angle it a certain way, you can tell the difference. That didn't work for me. I could not tell. Another test was, like, for you to get alcohol, I want to say, and test it.
Like rubbing alcohol?
Yes, like rubbing alcohol. I don't think we have that in the house. At this point, I was on the floor, you know, committed, you know, sitting down. I wasn't going to try to get up. I don't even know where Jordan was. I wasn't going to bug him. So I was like, okay, no, not that method. Mind you, I've already put on the spacers. I had no idea there was a right or wrong side of a glass. Like, my spacers were on. And then I noticed there was printing on the glass. Like, not this one, like the printing's not on this one, but there was printing like on the other piece that said verbiage, but it was cut off in how they had cut the glass. So I'm like, oh my goodness, I've already committed to my spacers. I don't know if I can pop these off, or if I can, if, you know, the sticky's still gonna be there. So I'm sitting there, this is like 30 minutes in, and of figuring out the glass, and I'm like, I'm gonna call Cheryl. Like, I'm gonna have to phone a friend. I don't think texting speed right now is like, I can't do that. So then I was like, well, no, let me use like ChatGPT or like the AI overview on Google. Like, someone has to know. So I found so many like forums and like Reddit threads that if you take, before you put on your rabbit clearly, and you take something sharp, a knife, your X-Acto, whatever you cut your spacers, something sharp, and scratch the corner that's gonna be hidden by the lip. There's gonna be two sides. There's gonna be a smooth side when you scrape your blade, and there's gonna be a rough side that scrapes your blade. Or you're gonna feel it like drag, and it's gonna sound like that screechy, like, you know, sound chalkboard, chalk on a chalkboard. It's gonna sound like that. The rough side is supposedly what faces your art. And the smooth side that doesn't make that scratchy sound faces out, because you're hoping, or you're buying this glass so that it doesn't have that scratch resistant, or it has that scratch resistant. So you want the smooth side out. I'm assuming that's the correct way. If anyone has framed something, or, you know, you're from a framing shop, please let me know what side I have, because both of these two frames, I have the rough side facing my artwork and the smooth side facing out. So I hope I did those right. Regardless, you get UV protection, your stuff won't fade. I just don't want my actual glass to scratch when I'm storing, so that's why I put the smooth side out. Then I actually put the spacers, like I put the frame in and then I put the spacers. That's where I had issues, because I actually did it, let me see if I can get it back in. I did it where I took out the glass and measured, but then when I put and you know, I thought I put the spacers right on the edge of the glass. Turned out I could see the spacers from the front. Because there's still a little bit of wiggle room with your glass. Like, it doesn't sit flush to flush. Now I'm having issues getting it back in. So I had to I put the glass in and then I did the spacers. I mean, granted, I don't think one's supposed to take this out over time. I'll do this later. But anyway, so I put the glass in first, and then I did the spacers, and then turned it over to make sure I couldn't see the spacers from the front, because, I mean, why would you want to see that? And then this, mounting it, took me 5 minutes. What took me longer was figuring out what side of the glass, figuring out the math for the spacers. Even ordering the frame took me the longest, but to actually FFO it, 5 minutes.
So what is that mounted on, and do you have batting?
So no, I don't have batting. Again, you can put batting. If you want to, if you know, like that look of the puffy stitches, you can. However, keep in mind, you add batting, you get that depth. Do you have enough depth within your rabbit? If you do, then great. If you don't, I would forego the batting. Board I used is a acid-free matte board, and it is very thin. It's actually thinner than sticky board. So both sides, one side isn't sticky. It's just a board. I got mine at Hobby Lobby. I made sure it was acid free. It's actually where like the framing section is. If you go, you see all those like big poster boards lined up. They have them in different colors. There's a poster board and there's a mat board. I got the mat board because it's thinner. Again, you could use sticky board, but only if you have enough depth within your rabbit. So I did plan out a lot how I was framing it, what supplies I was using before I bought my frame to make sure I did have that room. Because if I have the glass, I have the spacer, and even with this thin mat board, if I wasn't gonna have enough rabbit space, then I was gonna have to forego the glass. So it does, I mean, there is a little bit of research behind it, but each frame company, you can reach out to them, ask them, you know, how they take their measurements. They also have like a notes comment that you can say what you're trying to achieve. I did that for one of them just to make sure that I was getting the correct frame or that I read the instructions correctly. So yeah, that's how I framed mine. Once I'm done framing, I will take sticky tape, like I'll cut probably our sticky tape in half and put it right along the edge, and then put a piece of, you know, like a scrapbook paper or the black craft paper, and how, like, you know, when you professionally go get stuff framed, that it has that seal in the back. You can leave it like this. You don't have to cover it. What? The rough's the outside, you see, and on a forum it said the opposite. So, okay, so now I know when you could feel texture. So the texture is on the outside, so the rough side is on the outside. So you can seal it up. I was gonna wait until I knew what glass and then pop off my spacers and put it to the front. And then this is how like the hooks came to. If you're gonna hang it, they just tape it to the, like, to a board. I almost threw this away because I didn't know it had the hanger. And then, you know, pick where you want it, center it, and then you just hammer it in because it has these like tabs. And then you just hammer it in and it, you know, it goes. And they have different hanging options. Like I said, you don't need to have them. If you want to, great. If you don't, not an issue. So yeah, that's a little bit about how I framed. You'll probably see more in the future. I want to say I tried 3 different companies already. These 2 are Art to Frames. I purchased one from Frame Destination, which is a way bigger piece. Like, it's bigger than this one. It's, I want to say 9 by 17 inches, the opening. It's very long. And then someone had asked about a sneak peek of Stitch Quarterly. I just got the frame in for.
Also, does your sticky board stretch your fabric before
What do you mean? So this is the frame. I got it from Finer Works. And I'll kind of show you the color scheme of December Stitch Quarterly. So I get nervous buying stuff online frame wise, like, you know, sight unseen. But this company, the photos that they have of their frame were actually spot on. So I was very happy with that when this frame came in. They're local to us. They're maybe about an hour and a half from, like, distance wise. I could have gone to pick it up in store, but they shipped it to us here.
Have you noticed any stretching of your fabric when you mount it on sticky board?
Okay, well, that is a good question.
Repeat the question.
So Jordan had asked if I noticed any stretching of my fabric when I mounted on sticky board. So if y'all remember, a couple floss tubes ago, Kimberly showed her flea market flowers, and it was like crooked. You remember when you had stitched it, like you could tell in the border.
Oh, right, yeah, the
Okay,
fabric.
like the fabric, it had, sorry, I just hit the camera. It was very skewed, yes. My mom's fabric, same exact way. I'm thinking when it's in the Q-snap, like she doesn't leave it in the Q-snap, she pops it off, pops it in every time she uses it. So depending on her tension, like distorts the weave a little bit in one direction. So this entire piece, and if my mom's watching, I fixed it, don't worry about it. It came out good. It was like a little bit like angled or like to the side. When I did my finishing, I followed with a friction pin like right on the weave. I drew my line. I didn't take the ruler and just blindly measured. I made sure I followed on the, you know, on the weave of the fabric or the weft. Then when I mounted it, I knew this wasn't going to be a problem. This was straight. But these sides, the left and the right, were just a little bit. And it stretched. I was able to stretch it. I mean, the first side was very easy because you didn't have, you know, any tension or, you know, anything to pull on. But then when I got to this side, I just used that line again because I drew it right on that, you know, weave, that once I started pulling it to the back, right here, I mean, you can kind of see my line. I didn't even take off the friction. I mean, you're not going to see it. I just made sure that line of the friction pin, there you go, canted. That's a new word that we learned from Jordan. So that's funny, Sheila. Oh my goodness.
14 count does it worse, probably because of bigger holes.
Oh, that's good to know. So yeah, my mom stitches on 14 count. So Jordan had mentioned that, I guess you guys are saying that the 14 count does it a little bit worse of the whole canting and the angle. My mom stitches usually on 14 count, and all of her pieces, or a majority of them, come like that. I thought it was because of the Q-snap, but it always fixes out in the end. I don't try to iron it straight before I finish it, as long as I'm up close following that weave of the fabric, and you know, I have a hole to the left and a hole to the right, and I'm just drawing that line the whole way up. Once I mount it, it stretches it out. I don't worry. I press it to get out the wrinkles, but I don't like press it. What is it called, like in crochet, where you have that board blocking? Like, I don't block it. I don't do any of that. I just get the creases out and hope and pray that it comes out straight in the end. And if not, I mean, right now I could just easily rip this off because it's with stitchy tape and redo it. So it's very forgiving at the end. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to. Jordan, is there any other questions framing wise that I hit all of them? Okay, let me clean this up, Kimberly, before you do what's new. Oh my word. Let me move this out of the way since the frame's not on. I don't want you to cut.
And this frame it looks kind of black, but it's actually green. Like there we go, kind of like an evergreen. So that kind of gives you also a hint for Stitch Quarterly.
You good?
So thank you, everybody. That was so awesome. And if y'all have questions, just put them in the comments. You know, we read the questions. So if there's like something you're curious about that Shelly showed that we didn't answer, or Cheryl or Denise, let us know. Denise is planning some finishing tutorials for 2026. They'll go more in depth. So, you know, the more questions you ask, the more content that gives us, because then we can make sure we answer your questions. So we do have a bunch of brand new releases. There's a lot of festing stitching to add to your wish list. So I am going to show you some new charts. So the first ones are from Stitching with the Housewives. These are all PDFs. These are from the Tier Tray Tidbit, Santa Paws, Snowman Santa, and Oh So Merry Goose. So those are the three that are out so far. There will obviously be more this month. And then from the Christmas roundabouts, there's the Swan Santa, Angels We Have Heard on High, and Mrs. Claus and the Swans. And you can see that each of them are finished a little bit different. Like these two are finished the same. These two are the same. This one's a little bit different. So those are new Stitching with Housewives. Of course, also the other new Stitching with Housewives I've already shown you, Dear Santa, the new Gingerbread, and the new December that are coming next week. Little House Needleworks has a new chart called Winter at the Home of a Needleworker. I feel like this might be a reprint.
No, there have been a couple
Or there have-
different Home of a Needleworker.
Okay.
I'm not sure about this one.
Okay, so Cheryl said there's a couple different in the series of Home of a Needleworker, so this one she thinks is new. And then Primrose Cottage, there's a lot of new stuff. Now some of these are sold out. They only let us order 40 each, so we only get a limited amount. So we have Snowman Ornament, which is actually an ornament. The Dove Needle Minder. Christmas Whip Charms, these are cute. And then Tree Lot Floss Drops. So this one has 2 holes. And there are, I don't know how many are in here. It looks like quite a bit. 18. So those are the floss drops. And then their new charts are Joy to the World. And their charts are in color. Prince of Peace. And the Lord is my shepherd. And all of these are showing color and cotton floss with DMC conversions. Nativity Quaker. And then Hark the Herald. Shepherd's Bush has a new pattern featuring the Mad for Plaid bags. This is called Be Happy Mini Bag. So this is using the small bag. And on any of the Shepherd's Bush patterns that you see, if you want to make the bag exactly like they have them, you can call Shepherd's Bush. They're in Utah. And they have thread kits that they will sell to you. Summer House Stitch Works, they have a couple of That's a Wrap patterns, and it's basically the pattern for the wrap around the pillows, and this is called the Spooky Edition. Pansy Patch Quilts, there's always a Jack in the Patch, and Drusella's Pumpkin Stew. Tiny Modernist, maybe Shelly will be stitching these. Halloween Cats, that one has a lot of back stitching. Woodland Whimsies. Oh, this is the one you just showed, Fall.
Yes, yes.
She just showed you this one, the Fall Folk Dragon. Palm Reading. And A Spooky Night. Oh, and you just showed that one too.
Oh, yep, show that one too.
Well, that answers my question. The Scarlet House has Fa La La and Oh Dear. And these list classic color works in DMC. With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais, Snowmen in the Retreat.
Before you go on to the next one, I want to say all of these With Thy Needle are on Cheryl and my stitching list. They are amazing.
Okay, well, I said this wrong. Snowmen in the Forecast. Yeah, I said that wrong. And then just so you guys know, when we get her stuff, we get one shipment. We can't reorder these. So if you're wanting to order them, I would order them now. Bells Are Ringing. Winter Trio. Quaker Snippets 2. So this one kind of is like the same style as what you were doing. And then Sweater Weather. The Chipmunk by Cottage Garden Samplings, and this one actually, it might actually already be sold out. This one has been really popular, but we have reordered it. Plum Street Samplers has 3 new patterns. They have Charcuterie Board. Don't even laugh at me, Jordan. Autumn Moon and Mini Mummy Moon.
Cheryl, are you stitching any of these 3?
Yeah.
Because
Which
they are
ones?
I probably will eventually do all 3.
same. Shelley?
I got everything but the mummy one.
Oh man, that you'll see that in Spooky September 2026.
So all three, and it'll be fun to see how we all stitch it
Oh, for sure.
different.
So funny. October Fiber House Heartfelt Christmas. There's 4 new patterns here. Tree Trimming Season 1. This one's really cute. And then from the Shepherd's Ear, we've already shown January. This is February and March.
Jordan, will you help me with this?
And then Digistitchery, we got some new colors. Cheryl worked with the designer to get these made for us. So this is brown mini dot 14 count and 16 count. And then this is brown mini dot 27 count Linda. 32 count Belfast linen. So you can see how the Linda and the linen look different than the Ada. So the Ada's has a little bit more gray, and the other 2 have a little bit more brown. And then the whitewashed wood, this is the 27 count Linda. We showed you the 14 counts, but we just got in the 27 count. For Pip and Chip, we got, you're gonna do this, right?
You can do those.
I'm gonna do this part and you're gonna do the next. Okay. So Pip and Chip, we got a lot of questions after we showed the original Pip and Chip product. And so the stuff that you guys wanted us to order, we went back and ordered. So you guys wanted vinyl labels for Classic Color Works and Weeks Dye Works. So for the Floss Away bags, and it doesn't have to be used for Floss Away bags. It can be for anything. These are the bigger labels that you can use. And so one is Weeks and one is Classic. And these have actually been selling really fast. This company is great to work with and so easy to reorder, so that's great. And then we also ordered the labels that would work with the floss drops. And so here are the floss drops that you can put these on. And then these are the Floss Away bags that you can put these on. Now the Floss Away bags, they're kind of weird, like they're hard to get. So we order them all the time, and sometimes we get them and sometimes we don't. So if we don't have them in stock, I can promise you that Alicia has them on order. They just are kind of one of those, you know, sometimes there's just products that we order and sometimes it just doesn't show up and sometimes it does. So I just wanted to like show that. And out of everything we have purchased for Pip and Chip, what has sold the best has been the stickers. So that's pretty interesting and exciting too. And then,
You can stay here.
oh, I'm gonna stay here, but Denise is gonna show you some other stuff that Denise and Cheryl have been doing.
So we have the entire set of DMC floss. No, don't do front cam yet. I'll go top cam first. So we have the whole entire set of DMC floss in the office. And that's how we pick, you know, the colors for any of the It's a Wilma patterns and the DMC conversions for Classic Colorworks, Weeks Dye Works. So I had this bright idea because I like things to be cute. And I got the Pip and Chip acrylic bobbins, the ones that have the DMC already printed. And we already had this Bisley container. We got this from the Container Store. And then I got the foam inserts, the thick ones, and I organized all of the colors within these drawers. And we do stuff by colorway. So this drawer is all red and pink. So it goes from the reds down into the pinks. As you can tell, I have not flossed all of them. It's going to take me a hot minute, you know, to do that. The next drawer I want to say is like the yellows and the oranges. And this just sits, greens and blues. This just sits in a cubby in my office, like in a shelf. Over time, I will end up scanning all of them. I know Cheryl mentioned this the last time. There is a clear, did you end up taking one off, Cheryl? There is like a clear backing on here, and it does tell you on the insert card when you get your the floss bobbins, floss chips. I'm trying to peel one off so you can see. There's like a film, just a protective film, and it's only on one side, which is going to be your back side, not the printed side. You can, take this off before you floss everything. I had gotten through a whole color, all of the reds, and realized that there was a backing on them. But since we're not going to actively use them, like it's literally just, to pick floss, it's fine. I'm going to pretend that, they all have them off. And then also, she puts this nice little insert. I suggest not throwing it away because she lists like the discontinued numbers on here that DMC has discontinued, and then what color replaced that discontinued thread. So just good information there. Jordan, let me get out of the way and you can go to front cam so they can see the Bisley container. It's a little dusty on the top, Kimberly.
So basically all the pip and chip we sell, and this little, the insert, what's it called?
I think it's called Bisley foam insert.
So we sell all of that except for the Bisley. But you can find these, you can get them at the Container Store. I think you can get them at Walmart. Obviously they sell them on Amazon, and there's a bunch of colors. They're all the same size though, right?
Yeah.
I think they're all the same size, but I think there's a variety of like white, black, blue, green, there's all kinds of colors. But the only store that I've physically seen them in myself is Container Store. So.
Kimberly, you might mention the foam inserts. We ordered 2 different ones. You need the 3mm, not the thin stuff.
Okay, so on these foam inserts, there's 2 millimeters on here. For the Bisley, you need the 3mm.
I think they're listed as 3mm and thin slot.
Okay.
This is the
It's
thin
this
slot.
thing. Okay.
So this is, do you mind? Okay, this is a thin, and then let me take these out so you can see more. This has like a thicker slot.
So what can you put in here?
These are if you use like the cardboard DMC,
Okay.
because it's a thinner one, a thinner bobbin. And I tried this and I had to call Cheryl because I thought I ruined the whole thing. So if I had stuck all of these bobbins in this thin one, and I went the whole way down, this whole thing started like curving because it's not used to that thickness to fit in. So that's when Cheryl was like, no, you need the 3mm one.
And this one, it's hard to see there you go.
It's
you
thick.
can see the big difference in the depth.
So yeah, so if you're gonna use the acrylic bobbins, by Pip and Chip, the ones that are printed, or even the thicker ones, do the Bisley foam insert, the 3mm. Is it 3mm? I believe that's what it's called. And this is just called thin slot. Okay.
See, we use phone a friend around here. And the phone a friend we always call is Cheryl. Oh, and then we're going to do the Be Stitch Me fabric, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you, this is very heavy. I'll put that right there. Okay, so Cheryl and Denise love this fabric and they wanted us to carry it. So we are now carrying Be Stitch Me fabric. And so when we do that, we'll pick a couple colors, and if it sells great, we'll add that kind of thing. So these are the colors that Denise and Cheryl picked, I think. So this is Sugar Cream Pie, and I'm going to show you the different counts so you can see the difference in the color. So this is 14 count, 16 count, 18 count, 28 count. This is linen and this is Lugana. 32 count linen and Lugana, and 36 count. So this is, the color is sugar cream pie. And then we bought a 40 count linen also.
And this color, I'm stitching the new with thy needle, bells are ringing.
On what count?
40 count, literally on the piece you have in your hand.
So we bought this just so, I know we bought this just so that Denise could buy it, because I don't think anybody else buys 40 count from us except Denise and Cheryl.
And Kimberly, it would be good to point out, see the serging?
The serging, yes.
The serging for each color is a different color.
For each count?
Each count.
Each count, like the 32. So you
Yeah,
look
the
at
32 and 16, and then the 36 and the 18 match.
Oh.
And on the website, it looks really pretty because on the photos you can see the serging. So, okay, I'm going to put these back in order. And I love that it has the this staple to it so that you know what you have when you get home. And then this color is vintage, and I'm going to show it to the front camera real quick, Jordan, because I feel like to me this shows true color, but when you go here to top camera, it looks a little different. So to me, it's got a mauve-y tint to it. So it's called vintage. So we have 14 count, 16, 18, and then you have the 28 linen, 28 Lugana. The Bee Stitch Me is soft because it's hand dyed. Anything hand dyed is going to be soft. 32 count linen, 32 count Lugana, 36 count linen, and 40 count linen. Color vintage. And these are all fat quarters. They're, I mean, it's not, they're 18 by, it's much wider than a quilting fat quarter. This color is not another sampler. You know what, at the end, I think we'll probably show stacks of them together, like in front, just so we can show them together. So not another sampler. And this one is the one that we were looking at yesterday, and like the 28, it looks a little different. But then at the end, we'll show you like stacks of them just so you can kind of see if you want to compare them to each other.
And this is the one that I'm stitching the Salem sampler by Plum Street, just so that you can kind of see color with some stitching on it.
What count?
This is 32 count Lugana.
Because you do Lugana and linen.
Correct. I prefer an over 2 piece rather than Ada, which is over 1.
So Quilter Jenny, Cheryl just told us that the stitch color out here delineates what count it is, but obviously you'd have to kind of have that memorized, but I would just go with this. 14 and 16 count, it's the number of stitches per inch, the difference. Honey, this is, it's a little bit orangey. Do you think that's showing true? Okay.
That would be a pretty Halloween. Like if you want, you know, like a soft orange.
Yep, it's really pretty. And then What the Hay. So this one to me, it looks like the color of hay. I mean, I know that sounds stupid, but when I want to convey a fabric, like, you know, you want to, but it literally looks like the color of hay. It's showing a little bit yellow online, but it's more of a tan. Can we all have Cheryl's phone number? No, because then we would be in line behind everybody. You don't know how many times over the years I've had to text Cheryl and be like, does this look good or bad? And most of the time she's like, oh, it's fine. And then I have to be like, oh, I have to trust Cheryl. It doesn't look as bad as I think it does. Dusty Cottage. And just so you guys know, Cheryl loves the Spurs, so she probably watches the Spurs when she's stitching all this stuff. I'm gonna open this one. So like this one is 32 count, and then if I open the 14 count, so there's a difference, and like on this, especially now that Cheryl's on here, she'll talk about how like when she picks a fabric like this, whether she decides to stitch over here or over here with the hand dyed. Now, I never stitch on this stuff, just so you guys know. So, Cheryl and me and Shelly stitch on the cheap, the crusty stuff. I like it. That's the way I like it. And then Denise and Cheryl stitch on the other. I think it's totally fine to do whatever. I did, when we first started all this cross stitch, I tried to branch out and do 18 count and all that. And then I was just like, okay, this is not, it was exactly what Shelly said. If you don't enjoy it, just put it up and just do what you like. You don't have to do it because, just because I show something, you don't have to do it that way. I will probably never not do the loop method because I got to get stuff done and I could care less about the variegation. So this is one more reproduction, and this is what Denise stitched on
40 count linen, I believe. Yes,
okay, is this 1/1?
It's 1/2, one strand over 2 linen threads, and that was on the 40 count linen.
Wow.
I am a fan of a good neutral.
Okay, so do you use, I know we answered this last time, but are you using readers when you do this?
No readers.
What in the world? I cannot see a hole from right there
No readers.
at all. I really could not do that. No. That looks amazing though. Could you think you could see that, Shelly? Yeah, see, me and Shelly can go to lunch, and Cheryl and Denise can go to lunch, and we can commiserate on our.
We'll go to the same spot and get separate tables.
Yeah.
We don't discriminate.
No. It's so, I just think it's very interesting because everyone is so different, and the comments we see in live stream, it's just interesting. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try this, Jordan, and you tell me if it works. I'm going to try to do stacks, and then we'll do a top camera, and then we'll do like in front maybe, and then maybe they can see the difference. You think that works? Mm-hmm. Okay, and I'll say the names. I think you can read them, but my favorite is Honey out of all of them, and What the Hey. Now, you like one more production.
And not another sampler.
And not another sampler. And then Cheryl, what about you?
What would be, Cheryl, your 2 colors that you like?
I've used Not Another Reproduction and Not Another Sampler. I've used both of those. I have some sugar cream pie, but I haven't stitched anything on it yet.
Okay.
The hay is a brand new color.
Oh, okay.
But the vintage, that's new to me. I haven't seen that before. I love that. And I love the...
So all of
Cheryl
them
says all of them.
If I could only pick 2, it probably would be Not Another Sampler and Not Another Reproduction. If I had to
Or
only
one more
choose-
reproduction.
One more reproduction, yes. And
I
Not
thought
Another
you were going to say
Sampler.
Dusty Cottage.
I love that one. I do.
See,
love
I was like, okay, so
Shelly, your 2?
I love anything that's with a hint of pink, so,
So
probably
vintage.
vintage and sugar cream pie.
yeah. Okay, so I'm going to read the names and then we'll show them on the front. Okay, Dusty Cottage, Not Another Sampler, Honey, What the Hey, One More Reproduction, Vintage, and sugar cream pie. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Somebody said one of each. Okay, I'm going to show them to you on the front, and then, so, sugar cream pie, what the hey? Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Vintage honey. One more reproduction, not another sampler. And then Daisy Cottage. Okay, so that is today's live stream. As a reminder, everything that we showed today can be found in the description box below. We answer all comments. Don't forget to sign up for the Fat Quarter Shop newsletter. You can also sign up for Fat Quarter Shop text updates at Fat Quarter Shop. That way you'll never miss out on the latest deals and the newest releases. We will be back next Monday, November 17th. We're going to do it on Instagram. We're going to try it on YouTube. So if we're not on YouTube, that means our technology failed. We're just trying some new things. But hopefully we'll be on YouTube Monday, November 17th, 10 a.m. Central Time for a finishing session. And we are going to be taking the remaining items of our good old days, finishing those. And then if it's successful and you guys like it, we'll just keep doing that. We cannot do a set schedule at this time just because we're at the end of the year, and we would have to kind of figure out how to fit that in. But thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all the ladies who shared. And if you have any questions for any of us, we're happy to answer. Have a great day, and we will see you on Monday.